Why are you doing this podcast?
On October 2nd of 1992, I got tapped on the shoulder, and someone saw something in me that I didn't yet see in myself. And they asked if I wanted to be the safety director for the company. At that time, I had no idea what that meant. Literally zero idea what that meant. And over years, I've been fortunate enough to have people share information with me. And I think at this point in my career, I'd like to give back in hopes of making the young practitioners' experience that much easier, and perhaps even connecting with the boots on the ground, the workers in the field, just to kind of get some insights into, why I act and am interested in what they're doing.
Great. And if we harken back, that was probably a time where, and I'm sure probably everybody in the room was not a fan of what used to be called the safety officer, right? Like you were a cop on site that walked around. That's what it was when I started.
Absolutely. Yeah, quite a bit.
The big question I wanted to ask, and I hope that this kind of informs people that listen down the road, is what are your individual philosophies on safety? Because I know everybody has different approaches just because different personalities, right? Bob, what's your philosophy?
When I look back when I started, like I said earlier, I had no idea what I was in for. So the only place I could start was really at a code level, reading standards, reading interpretations, looking up new regulations. I can remember going to Brown University, and at that time the internet was non-existent. So I had to go to Brown University and go through microfiche to look at federal registers, and I wanted to really understand the final rules. So the current practitioners have so much an advantage in that they have a computer in their hand, right? And I think as time went on, I experienced through investigations some really bad events, some life-altering events, life-ending events. And as I learned through each of those events, it really informed how I practice safety. I can remember one instance where I was working for a company that had a key indicator, and that was we don't want any more than one citation per inspection. And I was in a quarry, and with the MSHA inspector, we were driving out of the quarry, and in front of me I saw Andy, this gentleman, Andy Gomes, who was at the edge of a primary crusher. He was exposed to a fall. And at that point, knowing what the goals of the company were, no more than one citation per inspection, I did whatever I could do to distract the inspector. And as we passed Andy Gomes and made ourselves out of the quarry, I was thinking to myself, wow, that was close. We got up to the surface, and we made arrangements to meet the subsequent day. And after the inspector left, I got a call from the scale dispatcher, Phil Amina, and she indicated that, Bob, you've got to get down to the primary crusher. Andy Gomes just fell in. So at that point, I made a promise to myself that I would never drive by anybody. And as I think all of us here at this table probably have those moments over your career that have really informed the way you practice safety. But as we really move forward in my career, I was very comfortable with the code, interpretations, could apply them, really begin to understand that that's not sustainable. The workers don't really want to know about the code. They want to know that you care about them. This became really apparent during COVID when, as a coincidence, I had taken a mental health first aid course that January. So during that course, I had a chance to kind of explore my own mental wellness, and also got to learn how important empathetic listening is. And we went into COVID, and the thing I told my team was, we're going to listen first without judgment, and then we're going to give them primary source information and apply that primary source information going forward. And I think over COVID, I had my own struggles with just everything that was going on, but it really helped solidify for me how important demonstrating genuine care for people is, and that when you really show care, you can connect at a level, and then you don't talk about code really. Well, it's important. I'm not trying to minimize that, but if you can just show them the right way to do it and then listen to them, and you always come up with some better plan than you envisioned. So I think more than anything, it's that journey. It's trying to create something sustainable where everyone's got a little bit of ownership in it.